There was an op-ed written in The Hill in regard to potential peace negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. Now, what was interesting is the take the writer here had in regard to cheerleading for more war, and more importantly, a potential hot war. So here's an op-ed that was published in The Hill today. Okay, this is what it said. Putin and Xi, meaning Xi Jinping, must be taught the lessons Hitler and Mussolini learned the hard way. Okay, so already there's a pretty interesting comparison there. In the 1930s, Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini met several times in each other's countries to pledge their unified opposition to the post-World War I liberal international order. Undeterred by the West, they then unleashed the horrors of World War II. Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping, today's most threatening world leaders, have also engaged in a series of exchange visits, the latest of which is happening this week in Xi's visit to Moscow. Now, here's how the writer here, Joseph Bosco, suggests dealing with the two countries. He says this: the Biden administration should make explicit and official what the president has casually said 4 times, that the United States will directly come to Taiwan's defense. Scrapping the longstanding policy of strategic ambiguity is the safest way to deter China's aggression. If Hitler and Mussolini and Putin had known the fate that awaited them, they might well have tamed their aggressive urges. Xi still has time to learn that lesson if a resolute West is prepared to teach it. Now, just some details about the writer here, because Joseph Bosco, his biography is interesting to say the least. He served as China country director for the Secretary of Defense from 2005 to 2006, and as Asia Pacific Director of Humanitarian Assistance and Disaster Relief from 2009 to 2010. He served in the Pentagon when Vladimir Putin invaded Georgia and was involved in the Department of Defense discussions about the United States response. He's also been described as a national security consultant. Cenk.
Okay, so this guy's entirely full of crap. Look, I don't know if he actually believes the things that he wrote and it conveniently matches his paycheck, or he thinks, oh, this is a good way to scare the living crap out of people and demagogue, and then that way I'll have earned my check as a national security consultant. What do 9 out of 10 national security consultants want to do? Create more conflict so that the defense contractors paying them can get paid billions of dollars, okay, and in mass, trillions of dollars. Then that trickles down to guys like this who make a living trying to start World War III. So the minute people start talking about Hitler and Mussolini in this context, you got to be careful. Look, I get the comparison, the biggest war in Europe since the Axis did this back in the 1930s, etc. And Russia is definitely wrong. It's definitely a war of aggression, but that doesn't mean that we got to show them who's boss by being more militaristic, buying more weapons, starting more wars. That'll show them not to warmonger? Are you sure? Because that doesn't seem like it would help us bring peace. It sounds like you're trying to start more wars and bigger wars. And do not, under any circumstance, do not fall into the trap of, hey, if I don't want war, that means I like Russia and China. No, Russia's the one that started the war in the first place. But don't also fall into the other trap, which is, hey, Russia and China are wrong, so we should go to war against them. No, there are other answers.
There are other answers. I mean, you can hold 2 seemingly conflicting thoughts in your mind at the same time. You can both acknowledge that Vladimir Putin and what he has done to Ukraine and the civilians of Ukraine is pure evil. It was wrong. He has committed war crimes. You can acknowledge what China is doing to the Uyghur Muslims in China. You can acknowledge all of that, while also wanting to find peaceful solutions to the conflicts that we're currently seeing on the global stage. Because at the end of the day, what the top priority and the top concern should be are the innocent civilians who get caught up in these wars that are made to last for years on end because of this unwillingness to engage in diplomatic talks and potential negotiations. And look, at the same time, you might not trust China, I hear you on that, But China's the only country that's come forward with a ceasefire proposal that keeps both Russian interest and Ukrainian interest in mind. So for instance, the two things that really stand out to me, China wants to forbid nuclear warfare and protect nuclear power plants, which of course is a sign that China's not with Russia attacking Ukrainian nuclear power plants. And they also want to open up avenues in which Ukraine can continue shipping grain out of the country to help them out economically, right? So this is a few of the points that they've brought up in this potential ceasefire proposal. And if they're willing to engage in these conversations, I think there should be some openness from the United States. There was openness from Ukraine until the United States said no. So we'll see how it all plays out, but I just think it's okay to acknowledge the wrongdoings of other countries while still wanting to call for peaceful conversations and diplomatic talks.
And whatever you do not buy into warmongers telling you that if we don't attack now and we don't create even bigger hostilities, that people will think we're weak and it'll lead to more war. No, war leads to more war. Peace leads to more peace. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.